In this video, we're going to implement the PrimeFaces galleria in our JSF application. You see, this is a very nice and interactive photo gallery, and all we have to do is we have to give it a collection of images to iterate over, and really what it's looking for is a string that represents the image name there. A few dimensions, and then we also have to give it a directory where our images are stored. So, offline, I have created 4 new images for our oak tree. Take a look here just a moment. Okay, for our Pleasant Ridge oak tree, I've created 4 new images, and now we simply want to snap one of these gallerias onto this page. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the DAO. We need to be able to query this information from the database. We'll do a little bit of share and reapply. I'm going to start with the plant HBM DAO because it has an option here called fetch plants. So I will grab this method and I'm going to place it into my photo DAO and Control M so we can watch this in high definition. And we're going to reuse a lot here, but we're going to want to change some things as well. So I might say fetch photos. And instead of passing in a plant, we'll pass in a specimen. Okay, instead of returning a plant, we're going to return a photo. Or a list of photos, rather. Okay, the session hibernate util get session factory open session, that's fine. The query we're going to want to change a little bit. We're going to say from photo where specimen ID like specimen ID. And remember, in HQL, instead of using database tables and columns, we're using classes and attributes in our query language. So query.setParameter, actually we're going to make this one equal, not like. Equal, like so. Okay, so query set parameter, specimen ID. We'll take away the wildcard since we're not using a like. And we'll simply say specimen.getID. Call the getID method just like so. Control-Shift-O organize imports because I haven't imported specimen yet. And we're going to want to have this instead of list plant, it's going to be list photos. Okay, and then photos. And actually, sorry, should be photo, singular. And then simply return photos. Okay, Control S, and that's okay, terminate that. Okay, what doesn't it like here? Let's see. Okay, so we need to refactor, we need to push this up into our interface, so I'm going to say refactor and pull up, and that is correct, so say finish. And now our DAO looks pretty good. Looks like we have a redundant tag here. We'll go ahead and take care of that. And now our DAO looks pretty good. So we want to take this back up to our service class, which is plant service. And let's make a new method here in our service class called public list photo fetch photos specimen. Not much value to add here in the business logic class. We're just going to pass this guy straight through. And if you remember before, we've already done dependency injection on the DAO, so we already have the photo DAO available to us. And the service layer is doing its job, which is aggregating together the separate DAOs that are very table specific and making them more business-like. So photo DAO, and then fetch photos, pass in the specimen, terminate with the semicolon, and okay, what do we not like? So add return statement, looks like we need to say return photo DAO, fetch photos, that's good. And also we need to refactor and we need to pull this up to its interface as well. Okay, and finish, and we're almost there. Okay, let's go now to our UI class, our specimen VO UI class. And we're going to want to invoke this. So let's see, when we select a specimen, we're doing a little bit of work here when we select a specimen. So on row selected, specimen, specimen, blah, 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 set specimen. What we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to set photos as well. So let's call a method. Well, actually we're going to, I'll tell you what we'll do. We need to do a little bit of magic here. Let's start by declaring an attribute called private list photos. Okay. Control Shift O, organize imports. Okay. And Control 1, create getter and setter. And OK. And now down in our on-row select method, what we're going to do is we're going to say photos equals, and then we'll say plant service dot fetch photos and pass in our specimen, the specimen that we've selected, and we're all good. So let me put a comment to describe what I'm doing. Now that we've selected a specimen, let's find the matching photos. Okay, for that specimen, and save. One more thing we want to do. Let's see, plant service looks like I need to save this. One more thing that we need to do, we need to be very careful about this. The photos are looking for a string that represents the name of the photo. Now, if I pass back a collection of photos, how's it going to represent that as a string? Well, it's going to call the toString method, and the toString method is going to return the fully qualified class name, in other words, com.plantplaces.dto.photo, and then basically a hex code that represents the memory location of that photo object in memory. That's not what we want. What we want to do is we want to go to the photo DTO, and we want to override the toString method, which is going to be easy. In Eclipse, TO capital S, control space, and it will see that we want to override a method that matches that string, TO capital S, which is toString. And here we're just going to have it return the URI. Return URI, like so. Okay, what's the URI? Let's look back in the database. And the URI is the photo name. Just the photo name, not the full path, but just the photo name. At this point, I think our work under the cover is looking pretty good. What we need to do now is we need to go back to that specimens page, and we need to implement one of these gallerias. So I'm going to go to Control-Shift-R, specimen.xhtml. Okay, and now I'm going to run to PrimeFaces, and I'm going to borrow a little bit of its example there. So I'm going to go to Multimedia and Galleria, and I'm simply going to grab this tag. Whoops, not that. We're simply going to grab the tag right here. Okay, copy, and let's put that down towards the bottom. I don't think we need the specimen management anymore. I'm going to take that away. Let's put that down towards the bottom, and let's change a few things. Instead of images view.images, it's going to be specimen vo.photos. var image is fine. That's fine. Everything else looks good. So what we're doing is we're saying we're iterating over this photos collection. For each photo in the collection, we're going to save it into a local variable called image. And then we're going to display that image in this relative path. Now, I do need to fix this path, though. And what I need to do is I need to put the path where the images are stored. And let's see where they are stored. As a matter of fact, we can look straight in Eclipse while we're here, Control-M. And I'm going to scroll down, and you see web content and then the images directory, and there are those images that I've saved. So the relative directory that we need to use here is just the directory where our images live. And in our case, that is simply images. So I'm going to shorten this a bit and say images and save. And now I'm going to pause the video for a moment as I restart Tomcat, and we'll take a look. Now I did need to make one more change. The Galleria is actually looking under a folder called Resources. So I copied the images under Resources and then Images. Now the full path for this, it's the web content and then Resources and then Images, instead of what I had before, which was just images. So from now on, when I save an image, I need to change the path to make sure it saves under Resources and then Images. In any case, I go back and take a look. Here are those photos that I've uploaded. You see it has a little description and also a photo, and then along the bottom it has a little ribbon where I can iterate over all the different images that I've uploaded. So pretty simple, actually. We just need a way to pull the image data out of the database, which we did with our DAO. We need to make sure that the images are stored in the appropriate directory, which is Resources and then Images. And then we simply need this p-galleria tag where we iterate over the collection of images. We make sure that we have the toString set properly. We save each iteration into a variable named image. And then we give it a relative path, but the important note we know is that path is relative to this Resources folder. Then if we wish, a description and a title. Easy as that, and we get a very user-friendly way to navigate over several images. If I were to choose a different specimen, I've chosen this one right now. If I chose a different specimen without any images, you see it will just say, okay, there's nothing there. But notice as soon as I select the specimen that has the associated images, our little galleria here populates automatically with the images that I've saved for that. So I hope this was helpful. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.